Okay, we're just gonna try it. Okay, guys, can everybody hear me? Okay, thumbs up, cool. First of all, thank you very much for being here with me today as I'm going through my final exam of yoga, and one of the silver linings of this COVID-19 is they have opened up any online yoga participant who's in a Yoga Alliance certified facility to become Yoga Alliance registered. So I feel really blessed that I'm going to have the chance to be registered through the Yoga Alliance. And so it prompted me to do something on my to-do list that I might have put off a little bit. And now I am jumping in with both feet, and I got all my work done, and this is my final exam. So for those of you who just popped on, in order to be best prepared, make sure you have a yoga mat. And if you have a yoga block or a pillow or a blanket, you might need that. We're going to be doing a very gentle yoga session just because I wasn't sure who was all going to be joining us. And I also wanted you to have a couple essential oils. Really just want something that you like the smell of a lot. We can go into a little bit of that later, but something uplifting like a citrus, and then something very grounding like a tree. And then the other thing I want you to have is a journal or a pen and piece of paper. Or if you're like Bree and I, you're gonna like your iPad with a pen. So I was actually planning on doing my gratitude journaling a little bit further into this practice, but as things progressed this morning, I realized I really just needed to start our session out with some gratitude and just start the session out in a little bit of a intentional way. So as we have all been experiencing such an upheaval of our lives through this COVID, I wanted to do something that just really set an intention of gratitude and things that we were grateful for. So if you've never done gratitude journaling of any kind, I don't recommend you spend hours and hours, gratitude journaling. If anything, the most efficient way of doing it, and a way that's going to make you more consistent, is just writing down 5 things that you're grateful for. But before you do that, I really want you to take an essential oil of your choice. And in the last month or two, Adaptive has become one of my absolute favorite essential oils. So first, I want you just to find a spot on your mat. I want you to sit in a way that's really comfortable for you. So if it means sitting on some sort of a block, some sort of a little pillow, you can put that underneath your butt bones, the bones that you feel when you sit. And if you need to rock a little bit to feel those, to know what I'm talking about, you can sit. Do you want to sit on the floor? Okay. So I'm going to sit on a block. I actually find that it's very comfortable for me to sit on a block a little bit higher. I do tend to have tighter hips. So yeah, you can sit like that, however you want. So I want you to take an essential oil, preferably an uplifting oil, and just take a drop. Do you want wild orange, or what do you want? Green. You want green. Okay, so you're going to just put a drop of essential oil in your hand and rub your hands together. Close your eyes and take some deep breaths. When you breathe an essential oil that is pure, 100% pure, you are going to see brain chemistry changes within 20 seconds. So to me, that is just fascinating. And knowing that this morning has been a lot of, stop, don't do that. Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? already, I knew I needed to just start my day with taking some deep breaths, thinking about why I'm here, thinking about how grateful I am that you guys showed up, to just be intentional with your day and just be grateful that we're here together. I have to say, I love that I can sit here with Joanne, that lives 45 minutes away, and Louise, who lives a whole day's flight away. And that just makes me so happy. And for you guys that don't know Louise, I'm going to introduce her at the end. She is a yoga teacher, and she is actually my inspiration, one of my inspirations for becoming a yoga teacher. She was the first yoga class I ever attended back when she lived in Sarasota. And I had the pleasure of flying out to Oregon and spend a couple days with her last May for Diamond Club. And we were introducing her group of women how to incorporate essential oils into their life. And so she's going to be offering some yoga classes that incorporate essential oils, and she has a beautiful, beautiful way of leading a class. So if I forget, Louise, wave your hands and go like this at the end. And that is Louise. And I'll make sure I tag her too in our Facebook group, just so you guys can get to know her and see what she's going to be offering, because she's going to be doing some classes. And Riley and I took a class from her last Saturday. And when we were done, he was like, Mom, that was amazing. So thank you very much, Louise. And thank you too for just being an inspiration, you know, for me, and helping me realize that this is such a great process. I just truly love yoga for what all it offers. Okay, so after you've taken a couple really nice deep breaths of inhaling some oil, I want you to take out your gratitude journal, and I'm going to give you a couple prompts. So for those of you who are brand new to gratitude journaling, I'm going to give you 5 prompts, and this shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. And Bree, for those of us who are more digitally inclined to journal in a digital way, I have a digital PDF of this that we can actually download right into our Passion Planner, and it's a really cool addition to just having there every day of just things that prompt you. So I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for today. Oh, and Charlotte wanted to remind me too, because this is something fun. So for those of us who love arts and crafts, you can take your gratitude journal. So Joanne, here you go for all your She Shed arts and crafts. Get out some of those stickers and make your gratitude journal look really pretty. Because if you have something that looks pretty, you're probably going to tend to grab it a little bit more. So write down 3 things you're grateful for. And then I love this statement, and I never really thought of this before I got this book. And this book is actually just called The 5-Minute Paperback Journal. And I got it on Amazon. And then when I started doing Google searches, I realized they had some PDFs of it. So you wouldn't even need to purchase it. You could download a PDF if you wanted. The next question is, what would make today great? So what would make today great? So for me, I'm just going to share one that would make today great. It would be if all my children did their schoolwork without me getting 55 emails from their teachers. That would make today great. But yeah, if you want to think of one thing, 2 or 3 things, and then I'm going to let you guys do that for a second. What would make today great?
What was the first one?
I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for what? And then what would make today great? And then the last thing that and this is the other thing I really like, they have 3 questions that you can start your day with, and then there's 2 questions that you can end your day. So what I'll do is I'm just going to give you the 3 for starting your day, and then I'll have you write down the 2 that you can then do tonight too. So we already talked about what am I grateful for, what would make today great, and some daily affirmations. And I've definitely learned with affirmations, you want to start with I am. So what are you? You know, what do you want to attract? What do you want to be? I am. You know, I am a strong but calm mom through this day. I am a fabulous leader. I am the yoga teacher that you all needed to be with today. You know, whatever that looks like for you guys, just say 3 things of I am. And if you finish before everybody else, just take your hands back up to your nose and take a couple more deep breaths. All right, so the last 2 questions that you can think about tonight when you're laying in bed are, what are 3 amazing things that happened today? And then reflecting on how you could have made the day better. The 3rd question for the morning was daily affirmations of I am. I am what? Just say 3 things of I am. I am a great student. I am the best sister in the whole wide world. All right, does anybody raise your hand if you need me to repeat any of those questions, or if you're ready to, anybody need me to repeat? Okay, and you know what I can do is when I will post those 5 questions in our EO Junkies group, and also in our, Trish, where did we put it in? No, we put it in our Tribe 21. That's what we did. So I'll put it in our Tribe 21 too, of the different questions that you can ask yourself both in the morning and at night. So my intention, it's interesting, I think I do like to start each class with a certain intention. And for me today, the thing that I keep coming back to, and I have this tattooed on my wrist, is be still. And I just want to keep coming back to just be still. And it's a Bible verse actually that is be still and know that I am with you, or be still and know that I am God. And that to me is very comforting right now. And just knowing that I can just relax and let him take control. So the first oil I want us to do, because we're just going to stay seated and we're just going to warm up our spine. So if you are not comfortable with getting all the way down on the ground, you can do this in a chair. You want to just be able to sit in a chair that you're not going to be slumping in, something that you'd be able to sit up. But ideally it would be done on a yoga mat. And I'm actually going to come down to the floor and move my mat. And Charlotte, do you have the breathe oil? Can I have it, please? So with this next oil, I want you to have something like peppermint, eucalyptus, something that's going to promote breath, open up our chest and lungs. And so same thing, you're just going to take a drop of whatever you're using. I'm using Breathe, and I'm just going to close my eyes. And I actually want to put a little right here under my nose and on the bridge of my nose, so that way I can smell it for the next few minutes. Okay, and so while I am getting the benefit of breathing in like this, I want you to start becoming a little bit more conscious on how you're breathing. So instead of breathing up here through your shoulders, I want you to let those shoulders relax. I want you to put a hand on your chest and on your belly. And when you take a nice deep inhale through the nose, you want to feel your belly hand push out. And then when you exhale, your hand comes towards your spine. And you want to keep your hand up here on your chest and just being aware that you're not lifting your shoulders. You want to keep your shoulders down and relaxed. You do want your rib cage to open up and expand. And I just want us to spend a minute here because there are so many times through the day that even though we are home, we're rushed and we're running from one activity to the other. And this is a time just for you to focus on you, on being still and being intentional. And so that way you have a wonderful rest of your day. So let's take another couple deep breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth. We're going to do 3 more in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you need to, or if you feel inclined to, I love closing my eyes when I do this. Inhale again, making sure your posture, and when you're sitting, you want to make sure you're sitting on those sits bones. You want to feel those bones. You might even have to lift your butt cheeks up a little bit to feel those bones so you're sitting nice and tall. One more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. Now, as you continue to keep breathing, we're just going to warm up our neck here. And you can inhale as you roll to one side and then exhale as you roll back. Inhale as you roll to one side. And then exhale as you roll back. You can roll your entire head all the way around. A lot of people find it uncomfortable to get that full extension like that. So I actually prefer to just stick to just rolling your shoulder or your chin to your chest, your ear to your shoulder. Chin to your chest, ear to your shoulder. And just be conscious of your shoulders. Allow them to relax. Make sure they're not pulled up towards your ears. The whole concept of yoga is just being really aware of what's happening in your body right now and never doing anything that's uncomfortable. So now we're going to take our circles a little bit bigger and we're going to actually circle at our waist and at our hips. So you're going to keep your back up straight and you're just going to reach forward, keeping your head up, and then come back. And we're going to go whichever direction first, and then we're going to turn and go the other direction in a minute. Take some nice deep breaths. Everything. Loosen up that spine. Good. And now let's go the opposite direction. When you do this, you should be able to feel your pelvis gently rocking forward and back. And you might even feel your abdominal muscles kick in. When you come back like this, you should feel them grab a little bit. Gently just rocking in circles. And with yoga, you never want to do anything that causes any pain. So if at any time you need to just come back to sitting, or I'll show you one other pose where you can just come back to and just rest in, feel free to do that. Yeah, Charlotte has soreness in her knee as well as I do, and so sometimes certain positions are not comfortable. Okay, so now we're going to actually do a little bit of a twist. So very gently, I want you to reach up and inhale. So we're going to inhale, reach up to the sky, and then as we exhale, we're going to turn to the left, and we're going to grab our knee and put our left hand behind us, and we're going to look over our left shoulder as best we can. And you want to think of a string coming up out of the top of our head and pulling us up. So you don't want to slump over, you don't want to be extended too much, you just want to stay nice and straight. And we're going to stay here for a couple breaths, and with every exhale, try and give yourself a little bit more of a stretch. So inhale and exhale. Again, look over your left shoulder. You can use your right hand to press against your knee to give you a little bit more of a stretch. If it bothers you, if you've had back surgery and you don't want to do any twisting, just sit and breathe. One more really nice deep breath. Good, come back up to center. And we're going to do the same thing, but on the other side. So take a nice deep breath in, raising our hands up. And then exhale. And look over your right shoulder. What? You can see it. Sit up nice and tall, Charlotte. If you, there you go. Good, nice deep breaths. I contemplated putting some music on, but honestly, I just wanted the silence. So I'm going to have you just kind of turn. I'm not sure which way you were sitting on your mat, and I want you to turn so your mat is long ways, and I want you to get onto your all fours. And for those of you who have issues with your knees, you can get another little extra mat. You can fold your mat over. You can put a little towel or pillow under your knees, whatever is comfortable for you. You can, Charlotte, you can just take that mat right there, just kneel on it. Roll that up. Yep, doesn't matter. Just kneel right on it. So you're going to be in all fours, and now we're just going to wake up our spine in a flexed and extended position. So we're going to take a deep breath in and look up and extend our back, and then we're going to exhale, and we're going to bring our rib cage towards our pelvis, rounding out our back, exhaling it. We're going to inhale again. This is called cat and cow. You can probably imagine this is exactly what a cat looks like when they get excited there. And I actually like to rock forward a little bit when I do this. So if it feels good to you to rock a little bit, feel free to move within this position. Inhale in and exhale. And exhale. One more time. And exhale. Now we're just going to come back into child's pose. And this is the pose that you can bring yourself into if you get to the point where you're just tired or you just need a break and you need to rest. You can come into child's pose. If you can't sit with your knees this bent, you can take this block and put it here underneath your ankles. This won't put as much pressure on your bent knee. You can also roll up a little towel and put it in between your legs. I will usually always show modifications for knees just because I've had knee surgery and mine tends to be very tender and I do have limited range of motion. So we're actually going to come up on the inhale to all fours. And then we're going to exhale back into child's pose. We're going to inhale. And then exhale. Inhale up. And then at this next exhale, we're going to stay down for a few breaths. And when you come down here to stay, you can rest your forehead on the mat. This is another really great reason to have a block here. You can rest your forehead on a block so it's more comfortable. I actually love using props. Louise taught me some really great positions to use props in, and it really helped with my inflexibility. And so I definitely like to use a prop. Okay, so if it hurts your knee, then put it back here and don't allow your knees to bend as far. Well, it's just the top. Oh, I see. Okay, well then get back off it. Go ahead and sit down. Just do a seated position so it's not bothering you. So Charlotte was just saying that pressure on her knee was bothering her, so I just told her to go back into a seated position. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do to warm up our spine is we're just going to do a few off to the side. We're going to inhale as we're up here in tabletop, and then exhale. We're just going to kind of come down to one side, and you're going to feel a stretch down your entire side. So as I come with my butt towards my right heel, I'm going to feel the stretch down my entire right side. And then I'm going to come back up with an inhale, and then I'm coming back down towards my left heel. And I'm feeling that stretch down my entire left side now. Come back up for the inhale. And then down to the right heel for the exhale. Come up for the inhale. And then down for the exhale. Good. One more time on each side. Inhale up. Exhale down to the right heel. Inhale up. And then exhale down to the right heel. All right. I forgot we did have one more arm here, so you can just stay like that. We're going to just warm up our hips a little bit before we get into our next motion. And so we're going to inhale, bringing our knee to our chest, and then we're going to exhale back. Now, if you are a little bit more advanced and you want to do this in plank, you can do this in plank and bring your knee in and then exhale out. Inhale in, exhale out. But if you're a beginner and you're just starting and you just want some gentle hip motion and gentle hip strength, you're just going to bring your knee in, exhale, and then inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And the one thing you want to be thinking about too is allowing your weight to be going through your hands. Keep your fingers spread. And now we're going to be going over to our other leg, and we're going to be doing the same thing. So we're going to inhale up and then exhale in. 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 Good. All right, come back into child's pose for just a breath, and then we're gonna go to standing. So you're gonna come up on your mats, nice and slow. And before we go through, actually, yeah, we are gonna do this one first, sorry. And then we're gonna use our next oil. So we're gonna come up to the front of our mat, so you have your whole mat behind you. And we're just gonna do a variation of what something is called a sun salutation. And this is just gonna get your body moving. I'm gonna have you, I can talk through some different variations for those of you who can't get into certain poses. It's not gonna be too restrictive, but if you need some help, I'm happy to walk you through some. So we're gonna be doing everything on the inhale and on the exhale. So on the inhale, we're gonna reach our hands to the sky. So inhale. And then we're gonna exhale and fold forward. And then on the inhale, we're gonna step back with our left foot. And then on the exhale, where? Can you do the other leg? Well, we're gonna do both legs. So if it hurts your knee, then do not put your knee down. So if this bothers your back leg, or if you wanna do more of like a true lunge and not put your knee down, you can keep your back leg up. And then you can take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're gonna bring your hands back down and come into downward dog. And then you're gonna inhale, coming to plank, so. And then we're gonna exhale and go right back into downward dog. And now we're gonna, the same foot that stepped back, now you're gonna kick it in the air with the inhale. Inhale up, and then exhale back. Careful, you don't have to step that far. And then you're gonna inhale in. And then we're gonna step forward at the same time. Exhale, and then we're gonna inhale and exhale. So we're gonna do that a few times, just so you guys get used to the motion. So we're gonna inhale, reach hands to the sky, exhale, forward fold. We're gonna step back with our left foot, inhale, and you can either put your knee down or leave it up, and then exhale, and then inhale again. And then on your exhale, bringing your feet back and down into downward dog. So for those of you who've never been into downward dog, your hands have your fingers spread wide, weight going through them. You do not have to have your heels down on the ground. It's something you can work towards, but realistically, when I was corrected after doing this for so long, I realized, gosh, I wasn't doing one little thing and it made all the difference. And when I pulled my hips up towards the sky, I realized I got a much better balanced feel in my downward dog. And now you're just gonna go back into plank, inhale, and then exhale, and then kick your leg up, step it forward, breathe in, come together, and then exhale. Don't lose your balance. Okay, let's try that one more time. And this time, we're gonna step back with our right foot. So inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stepping back. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, come down. And then exhale, come back to downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale, kick up. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, step forward. Inhale. Exhale. Step back with the left. Come down into downward dog. Plank. Downward dog. Kick back with your left. Step forward. Inhale. Step forward. Inhale. Forward fold. Step back with your right. Come up. Come down. Back into downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale, kick back. And step forward. Come up. And come down. Feels good? All right. Now that we've got ourselves nice and warmed up, I want us to just do a few balance poses. And I want to be mindful of time for everyone too. So I want you to take out a grounding oil that you have. And if you have balance, I love balance. It's actually one of my favorites. And I'm going to ask you to put a drop on the bottom of your foot. And then you're going to use your other foot to rub it in. So you're actually going to get some oil on the tops and on the bottoms of both of your feet. And we're doing balance because we're going to go into a few balance poses. And so to me, it makes sense. And I am going to skip a few poses just for time's sake. Because yesterday when I did this, I only had Riley with me and we were going a little bit faster. So first thing I'm going to have you do is we're just going to go into tree pose. And for tree pose, you're going to, if you're a beginner, you're going to want to keep your right foot down on the ground and just put your heel on your other ankle. If you feel like you've got pretty decent balance and you can put your foot on your calf, you can try that. And then if you do feel like you have some good balance, you can even move your foot up higher. The one place you don't want to put it is on your knee. You don't want to put pressure on your knee. So either go above or below. And if you need to grab a chair or a wall, this is the perfect time. So we're just going to take a minute, take some deep breaths. You can either put your hands right here at heart center. You can put your hands up high. Whatever you love. And I actually love putting my hands up high. It does make me feel like a tree, like I'm reaching out to the sky. It helps me open up my chest. And if you're really feeling brave, you can look up. Oh my God. That might cause you to lose a little balance, but just find your balance again and come right back into tree. Take a few more deep breaths.
Look somewhere still and it'll help you down.
Good. Come down. So we're going to leave the left foot facing forward, and then your right foot is going to come towards the front of your mat. So it's going to be at a 45-degree angle. And we're just going to come right now into warrior one. So Anything that leaves our feet smaller than our base of support is going to be good for our balance. So this is another one that's good for our balance. So you're going to face over your front knee, square your hips up, and raise your hands towards the sky. And the one thing you want to think about is squaring your hips. You don't want your hips pointed that way. You want your hips pointed towards your front foot and right over your toe. You want your knee tracking over your toe, and you want your hips pointing that way. And it does help having your hands raised to the sky, so that way you can feel if your trunk and hips are facing the right direction. And you don't just want your trunk to twist, you do want your hips to face. And you might feel some tightness, and if you feel some tightness, you know, that's fine to get a little stretch, but if it's painful, just back off a little bit. And here's another, if you're a beginner, you're gonna wanna stay up higher. If you need a little bit more of a challenge, you're gonna wanna come down into a lower lunge. And if you need a little bit of a break, just come back up. And if you don't, hold it right here in this pose, and you're gonna take some nice deep breaths. In through the nose. And with this one, I actually like to do in through the nose and out through the nose. And then on our next breath, when we take an inhale, on the exhale, we're gonna turn and open up to warrior two. And with warrior two, you're bringing your arms down to your side or out straight out, and you're gonna bring your hips square to the long side of your mat. Your feet are gonna stay in about the same position. And same thing, if you wanna make it a little easier, keep your one knee straighter, but if you want a nice lunge, come down into this lunge and just hold. One more breath. Good. And now we're going to do a stretch, leaving our feet exactly the same position, and we're just going to bend over to the side and bring the top arm right over and take your bottom hand and slide it down your shin. You might be right here before you feel that stretch and need to stop. You might be down here. You might even have your hand flat on the floor. The other thing that you can do is grab a block to assist you and put your hand right here. And you're gonna feel that open up your entire top side, whether you're bent to the right or the left. And you'll also feel it in this adductor muscle right here in your inner thigh. You should feel a really nice stretch. Make sure you're not leaning forward. You can also have this is a good one to put a wall. If you do this against the wall, and it keeps you upright. Good, now we're gonna just come back right up into warrior two. And then warrior one. And we're gonna step forward. And if you feel confident and that you wanna try this next one for balance, you're gonna just bend forward at the hips. So you're not gonna be bending your spine. You're gonna keep your spine straight, and you're just going to come up or go down into warrior three. Now, if you need to keep your toe down for balance, you can do that. Ideally, you want to keep your hips parallel to the floor. So you don't want to have your hip open. You want to keep your hip down. Keep this hip down a little bit. Turn it, yep, just like that. So if it's better to have better form and not have the other leg raised as high. And just stay here for a breath or two. Good. One thing I've learned with balance is when you focus on a spot, it tends to help you. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So now you're going to do a tree, and you're going to stand with your right foot planted, and you want your weight to go through the outside and the inside of your foot equally. You don't want the weight going through your toes, so you really want to be able to lift your toes up. So again, down here, here, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then whatever position your hands feel the most comfortable in. I see you, Louise. Love you. Thank you for coming. Good, nice deep breaths. One more nice deep breath. Good. And now we're just going to put our foot, just like we did the other one, facing the back side of our mat. Leave this one, and we're just going to turn and go into warrior one over the left side of our hip. And if you need to back your foot up, just back your foot up so that way your knee doesn't come in front of your toes. And your back foot, you want to put weight through the outside of your back foot. So if you're finding that you're putting weight through like the toe side, put it through your pinky side. And it'll give you a more stable, balanced feel. Get nice and deep if you can. Good, and then open it up into warrior two. Nice deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the nose. And when you're doing this, you can even have it where you feel it in the back of your throat when you're exhaling. It's a very cleansing breath. Unless you're doing it with Charlotte and it makes her upset.
No, that's nice that you make when you're mad at us. I mean,
Oh, that's nice. Good. Now that we are in warrior two, I want you to come back up. So we're going to do more of a triangle pose, and we're going to do that stretch like we did on the other side. So start with your bottom hand on your shin and just slide it down till you feel that good stretch in your inner thigh, in your side over here, opening you up. This is such a great opener. Oh, I just had my back just cracked. Nice deep breaths. Good, come back up. And then the last one we're gonna do is we're gonna go right into warrior three on this leg. So step to the back of your mat, and you're gonna raise your hands up and come forward on one leg. Focusing on a spot to help. Yes, you can, but that's cheating. Use your core, tighten your core so that way you're not moving. One more deep breath. Good. Just kind of walk it out here a little bit. And for the sake of time, I had a couple seated stretches that we can do, but I'm actually just going to have us lower down onto the mat. And we're going to do what's called a full body stretch before we do our savasana. And so I want you to find a comfortable position, and you're going to reach your hands up over your head, and you're going to be stretching out your entire body. So you're going to take a nice deep breath, inhale, and then when you exhale, you're going to be reaching with your fingers in one direction and your heel in the other direction. And you can do all four at the same time. And then so on the inhale, you're going to relax. And then on the exhale, you're going to reach and stretch. On the inhale, you're going to relax. One more. And then the exhale, you're going to reach and stretch.
Rosie just did it.
Good. Now, I want you to come into our final pose, and this is Savasana, and this is usually everybody's favorite pose. And this is where you lay with your legs out straight in front of you. You lay with your head down and your palms up towards the ceiling. And I want you just to close your eyes, and we're gonna do a couple little things to help you relax. And I just want you to stay here for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna end our session. But I just want you to, if you're having a hard time relaxing, it's actually easier to contract the set of muscles and then relax them. So I want you to start with your toes, and I want you to curl your toes as tight as you can for as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3, and then relax. And now I want you to point your toes as hard as you can point them. Point them as hard as you can to tighten up those calf muscles. And now just relax and wiggle them out. Tighten up the muscles on the top of your thigh. Tighten as tight as you can. Make that quad muscle as tight as you can. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. And now squeeze your butt muscles or your butt cheeks together as tight as you can. So tighten them, tight, hold 2, 3, and relax. And if you need to bring your knees up a little bit and just kind of gently rock, sometimes that helps to relax the muscles of the low back. If you feel like you're getting relaxed, just leave your legs to just splay out. Your toes are going to go out to the sides. Your shoulders are going to relax down. You're going to feel yourself just relaxing and weighing into the earth. Your breath is going to slow down. Your eyes are going to close. And you're going to think about grounding yourself right to the earth. Just feel like you're like sinking into the earth. Take some nice deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Relax your jaw. Move your tongue around so it's not pressing against the roof of your mouth. When you take a deep breath, make sure your belly is filling with air. Guys can take a few more deep breaths in that position, and then when you're ready, just slowly come back up to a seated position. Thank you guys for joining me on my first official class and allowing me to take you through a, oh, what did you want to show? Go ahead, you can show. What is it? Is that your or your gratitude journal? Here, take everybody off mute.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome. There we go. Yeah, and I hope you guys learn maybe something about incorporating essential oils in with your yoga practice and how you can just have an intention of relaxation or an intention of being still or of joy, whatever that looks like for you. And I think I just appreciate yoga just so much because it just meets me where I'm at that day. You know, some days I'm into a much more intense yoga and I'm sweating and huffing and puffing, and then there's days like this where I just want to be still, and it does exactly what my body needs for that day. So Charlotte, stop doing that. So anyways, I wanted to just thank you guys for joining me today, and Charlotte, if you'll push stop here in a second or turn off the recording.
That was awesome, Nikki. Thank you.
Thank